So I'm not quite sure how to approach this one, but we're going to do the best that we can. We have some, I would call them false ideas and incorrect theology going through, and it's not a great thing. And what's going around currently is a belief that Christ is not eternally divine, that he's kind of like something that just was pulled off the Father and made into a being of some sort. So let's start with Israel, the people. They were in slavery in Egypt, and God sent Moses and told Moses to tell Pharaoh to let Israel go because Israel is my firstborn son. Okay? Then later on, it says about David, it says in Psalms chapter 2, 6 and 7, it says, "Yet I have set my king on my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord has said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you." Was David literally born out of the Father at that time? No, he wasn't. And then when David was wondering if he should be building the temple of the Lord, God said to David, he said, "I will have Solomon do it, your son, and I will be a father to him." So we have this idea that everybody that is established as a ruler or a real authority over God's people, God refers to himself as their father and the individual as the firstborn son. So let's transfer this over to Christ and his mission and how that relates to his sonship or kingship, as you will. So let's apply that to Christ. We'll start off with Ephesians chapter 1, and we'll go part of the way through verse 20. It says, "He raised him, Christ, from the dead, and seated him at his right hand in heavenly places, far above all principality and power and might and dominion, and every name that is named, not only in this age, but also in that which is to come. And he put all things under his," Christ's, "feet, and gave him to be head over all things to the church." So we have Christ being established as head, far above any other principality and powers, and he is being established as the rightful ruler, rightful king, because he was able to rescue us from Satan. So let's go to Hebrews chapter 5, verse 5. It says about Christ, "You are my son, today I have begotten you." And once again, we have Christ being established as in his kingship, so to speak. But he defeated Satan. God gave him the title of rightful ruler and king over the earth. And just the same way that David was called the begotten of the Father, that Solomon was said to be a son, that God was going to be a father to him, in the same regard, Christ is being established as king over his people, and we have that in its context there. It has nothing to do about where he came from. It has to do with his relationship with us and his relationship with the Father, and how that all worked out where he became our king. All right, now let us come at it from a philosophical point of view. You have a train, and the train is going down a track, and it's going to hit someone. And you run over and you push them out of the way, but you die. We call that self-sacrifice. But if you have a slightly different scenario in which you're walking beside somebody, and you see a train is about to hit somebody on the track, and you take that person that is beside you and you push them into the person that's on the track, and the person who was on the track lives, who was about to get hit by the train, but the person you push in front of the train dies. Well, we call that murder. It's no longer self-sacrifice. You have chosen someone else to die in order to save someone else. So if Christ is not eternally divine, and God created him, and then God had him take this fall for him, then God is not self-sacrificing, and he is a murderer. And if you believe that Christ is divine and eternal, you don't have that problem because he self-sacrificed himself in order to save us. But if you're saying that God pulled Christ out of himself and created him at some point and then pushed him in front of the proverbial train to take the fall for us, to save us, well, God then becomes a murderer. I want to leave just one more text with you to think about. And it's Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, and I'll read it here. It says, "For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace." So if Jesus is not eternally divine, and he's not God per se, then how come Isaiah refers to him as such? That's all I have for you for now, but I hope you have a wonderful day.